Hey friends, I am up early this morning, but not exactly camera ready. So I thought I would go ahead and come on here without the camera on and react to the Rod Blanchard interview that Into the Weeds dropped last night. Let's take a look, friends. I checked with Amber from Into the Weeds, and she said that this particular interview file did not have a date on it.
What's going on with that?
Did you speak with you? I think you probably
You may have called a couple times.
told you was in, you went to Wisconsin.
Yes, so you probably talked to one of our other
Judy.
detectives. Yeah,
Judy Walker.
Sergeant Walker.
Yeah.
Gal, does Rod have a dip in his jaw? Looks like he's got a wad of chew. Watch whenever he moves his hand.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we're bringing here today?
Well, we came for her court hearing this
Okay.
morning.
Y'all seeing that, friends? I think he's got a dip in his mouth while he's talking to the police officer after court.
Yeah, I thought I might have seen you up there.
And wanted to visit with her, see if we could visit with her and
Sure.
see what else we can do to support her.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
You got a couple of issues with, we don't know what we're gonna do with her mother's body or ashes. I'd like to be able to talk to Gypsy and see how she wants to handle that.
Sure.
She has
That is so freaking weird, friends. Like, they're already immediately acting like she's innocent. Like, they don't seem at all shocked or perturbed by her actions. He's just sitting there with his dip in his mouth talking about wanting to find out what she wants done with her mother's body that she had brutally stabbed, murdered.
family back at home that they're wondering, if they can have her ashes sent back there or
Right.
if Gypsy wants to wait and have a ceremony maybe years from now, but
Sure.
They never even considered the possibility that she might not come home after this murder. You hear, Rod? We want to know if Gypsy maybe wants to plan a ceremony for her mom. What the actual, y'all? Like, this grosses me out.
so there's some things we kind of want to business-wise taken care of.
Yeah, sure, I understand that.
And assist y'all in any kind of way,
Okay. As far as that part of it goes, you'd probably have to have her sign you up for the visitation, on the visitation list. And you might also talk with maybe some of the jail administration. I don't know if they make any arrangements for a special visit for you or
That
not.
would be these guys here. behind the
Yeah,
desk.
right next door over here, just tell me you need to talk to like a captain or a lieutenant or something.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking.
Sergeant Hunt that was in here just a minute ago?
He's
Yeah,
gonna pass it up. He said the
Okay.
captain's on
Yeah.
vacation right now. So
yeah, and he will do that.
Always wanting special privileges.
He'll make sure he gets that up there. He's got phone numbers and everything with him. Okay. Yeah, because they'll have to be the ones to arrange all that for you. Now, if she puts you down on a visitation list,
She
does
should
she
have.
know, does she know
She
that
knows
you're
we're
here?
here. Yeah.
Okay.
We was able to see her really briefly this
Okay,
morning after
gotcha.
court. The judge
Okay.
allowed us to
Good.
go in that little side room.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just say hi real quick.
Okay,
So,
good.
at least we could see.
Did she have quite a bit of family members that were there in the courtroom today, or
There was three of us.
three of you?
Yeah. My sister we just went to pick her up at the airport. She wasn't able
Oh,
to
didn't
leave
make
with
it.
us yesterday morning early.
Okay,
She's here now.
okay. Well, I mean, I don't know Gypsy and I didn't know Dee Dee. Obviously you knew him. Is there anything maybe that I don't know that I need to be aware of or anything that
Did you get notes from Judy Walker?
I have not yet, because I've been
Who's Judy Walker, friends? Maybe he'll tell us.
doing some of the leads on
I
stuff.
spoke to her pretty extensively on the phone.
Okay.
She spoke with my wife.
Oh, that must be the person who interviewed Christy. Unfortunately, we can't hear Christy's responses in that video.
Gave her most of that information.
Yeah, I gave her from what I could remember, our dealings with Dee Dee, our
Sure.
relationship, and I've sent her the checking account that I was making the child support payments to.
Okay, all right,
Well, I gave her the bank number. I don't know if I had the specific account number.
right.
So she does have a lot of that information.
Okay, all right.
And if you look over her notes or whatever, and you have any questions, you can call me and ask.
Okay, yeah, I think Judy's got your number.
But we went over some things, a lot of things.
Okay, all right. Well, so you know, I'm the lead investigator on this. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, so.
Yeah, she told me that.
Okay, all right.
And I know I'm sure you got a lot of stuff on your plate, things to
Yeah,
look through and everything.
I do. It's kind of a bad deal all the way around.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. It's like I told Judy, if I'd have had any one inkling that it was all a scam,
Mhm.
or if Gypsy would have ever once made that insinuation, but every time I spoke to Gypsy, Dee Dee was always had her prepped. Like I'd call her and she'd be like, well, she's not feeling good right now. She's taking a nap. Call back tomorrow at like 2:00.
Right.
I'll have her ready for you. I call back the next day and I talked to Dee for a little while. And she said, okay, I got her right here. And she gave her the phone. So it's like I told Judy. I said, man, I'm coming up there, but I really don't know what kind of a relationship I have with my daughter.
Right.
I don't.
Every time he describes this, it's always so weird to me, friends, because they always say that they didn't think Gypsy was going to live to be adulthood, and that's why they tried not to bother her and Dee Dee so much. Wouldn't you think, if he believed all that time that Gypsy wasn't going to live past 18 and that it was a miracle due to the wonderful care of Southwest Missouri that she was living longer before the murder, wouldn't you think that they would have insisted, done everything they could, just made it happen to see Gypsy? And there were rumors. Dee Dee would always say that, Rod was total man whore, always cheating, this and that. And I thought that that was just some of Dee Dee's exaggeration until we got the emails and found out that Rod is, in Christy's words, a sex addict. And in Gypsy's words, she addressed him in some of her emails as pimp juice. So there were a lot of people that, even distance people, like the cookie lady that he had no problem in later years being in contact with, but big problem being in contact with his child that he thought wasn't going to live and had limited time.
No, she's never called me like on my cell phone.
You've always been the one initiating most of the conversations and stuff with your daughter?
It was back and forth. Sometimes Dee Dee would call me to kind of check in, fill me in on.
He wasn't willing to say a lie there and claim that it was always him checking in. Oh, well, it was back and forth, Dee Dee would call.
Her supposedly conditions and everything. I'd contact them and then we'd speak,
Right. Now you say supposed condition. What makes you say that?
Well, the fact that she's walking now.
Okay. Did you have any inclination that she could walk?
It's like I told you, years ago, her sister or somebody had called me. This was when we first was finding out that she couldn't walk.
Sure.
That it was a condition. And she said, Rod, Gypsy's walking. I've seen her running around the yard and everything the other day. I'm like, oh, really? I said, okay, well, so I talked to Dee Dee about it. And she's like, yeah, her condition is not like a critical condition right now. Sure. Sometimes her legs hurt her and she's got to use the wheelchair. Right. And I assumed over the years after they moved away that the condition got extensively worse. Sure. And that was just it. She couldn't walk anymore at all. Right.
It's interesting that he says that because we saw in Gypsy's emails her complaining about her, quote unquote, some of her real diagnoses of mild scoliosis and other things. She was always emailing Ryan from prison complaining about pain, and other men too. She worked something like 20 minutes, maybe an hour at a time whenever she had a job in prison. And she would email Ryan and say that she's afraid she's not going to be able to work whenever she gets out of prison because she hurts so much just from standing a small amount of time.
I was never in the inclination that
she was actually
making her stay in a wheelchair for whatever reasons.
Sure.
And like I told Judy, I've never been to the doctor with her.
Okay.
I can't say for sure on any of those. The only thing I could say that I'm pretty sure she had was epilepsy, because I remember visiting her one time. She might have been 8 or 9, and one of her eyes was like off to the side, from the epileptic fits.
Okay.
And Dee Dee told me they had surgery to kind of help fix the muscle a little bit in her eyes, or a little straighter now.
It's interesting that epilepsy is the one that he is under the impression is correct due to the symptoms he saw. Just find that very, very interesting, friends.
But as far as physically seeing her throwing up or any symptoms wise, I've never.
Her hair is really short.
Okay, I got to break in real quick again too. He said it's I find it interesting that he said he's never actually seen her throwing up. Like that is a symptom that was described because do y'all remember in the interrogations, I think it was Gypsy and Nick's, they talked about how they went to Waffle House to eat breakfast and Gypsy forgot she had a milk allergy. We've discussed at other times, and some of y'all have given me information on that. I just can't bring it quite to mind right now because I wasn't planning on talking about this until Rod mentioned the throwing up. Because based on Gypsy's own words and descriptions, it sounds like that was not a symptom that Dee Dee was making up. What do y'all think, friends?
You know, is that how she normally keeps her hair? Or?
Dee Dee told me her hair would fall out from chemo treatments.
Okay.
And that she had wigs. But it doesn't look like her hair is thin at all.
No.
To me.
It hadn't to me either. But
So
This is somewhat unrelated, friends, but it is related. And I just wanted to get this thought out and see what y'all think. So Rod says there, look how sheepish he looks where I paused it. Oh my God, he's going like, he knows he fucked up. Okay, so Rod said, and this is true, Dee Dee would tell everybody around Southwest Missouri that Gypsy was losing her hair due to chemo treatments. That was what Dee Dee would say. The Kansas City trips to the cancer center and the children's hospital up there, I assume is where Dee Dee was saying that she was getting her chemo treatments. I don't know that for sure because I can't recall to mind right now any specific details of her telling where she got the cancer treatments, but I assume that would have been where they were saying it. So that makes it very, very interesting to me that the one person Gypsy stayed in touch with, that Dee Dee wanted to have care of Gypsy if something happened to her, who wrote Gypsy in prison, was this Aunt Rachel lady who's not really an aunt, but who worked at the Children's Hospital in Kansas City and stayed in touch with Gypsy. Probably still is to this day. How the hell did she not know that it was a scam unless something real was going on that Gypsy was being treated for up there? And if there wasn't anything real going on up there, then why does Gypsy still like this woman after she didn't raise the alarm and help her whenever Gypsy talks about wanting to sue all the other medical establishment? Like, what exactly went on there with Gypsy and Aunt Rachel? What do y'all think, friends? Let me know in the comments.
You probably know her a little bit better than I do, but
yeah, I mean that's the impression I have, that why her hair is so short.
sure.
That it was some kind of guys that her mother put her under to whatever.
Sure. Good old.
Dee Dee, she's a deceiving woman, man. She fooled me all them years.
Yeah.
Her neighbors. I think it's a tragedy that somebody can do that to their own mother. You got to be pushed to a limit. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I got mad at my mama a bunch of times
Sure.
over girls or whatever.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
never once would have.
He's trying so hard to reconcile in his mind what Gypsy did because he's still, like we saw in the beginning, he's just like, well, we got to see what Gypsy wants to do for her mama's service. You know, when she gets home, that might be years. She just murdered her mama, you dumbass. Oh my God. I really can't stand Rod Blanchard, friends.
I ever thought of being in any part or knowing about. I mean, I'm not saying she did it or whatever, but
Sure.
You know, I think it's obvious she had something to do with it for sure. You know, from what.
He's trying to find out what the investigator thinks. Like, don't you think it's obvious? Because he knows, like, it was so obvious. Gypsy is a murderer.
What I've heard,
Sure.
you know, I just think she kind of controlled her. I understood she tried to run away a few times. I wish to God she would have, you know, contacted me back then.
Right.
That's so funny talking about how much Dee Dee controlled her because now we've saw Gypsy's private videos. And she's sitting in the front room just hollering out, I want to have sex. I would be good with doing grape. I am the best at stealing. That's a complete opposite of a controlling mom.
Maybe she didn't, I don't know, I really hadn't talked to her.
Yeah.
Mr. Hancock, I don't know.
Sure.
I have a lot of I don't knows and I'm confused, and that's why I want to see her.
Absolutely.
And I asked her, why you never called that?
Sure. Right.
I was always there for you. I was still sending her $1,200 a month.
Is that what you were ordered to pay in child support?
No, I was ordered to pay the last court order I had. I think it might have been $350 a month.
But you were sending her more?
Yeah, as you get older, you make more money. I moved up in my career. I'm boat captain now.
Okay.
So it's gotten up to $1,200 a month that I was sending her.
Was that on your own? Did you just kind of start giving her more on your own? You didn't never
No, I never had the last court order I had for child support was $350.
Okay. Well, that was coming
I have those papers.
Sure.
Probably in, I don't know, 2006 maybe.
Okay.
So as I made more money, I felt like, the court's going to bring you anyway eventually or something. So I bumped it up. And
I'm really curious if we're going to see proof of this. I assume we will, because I figure surely Rod has sense enough to know that with this being a murder investigation, whatever he says to an investigator is going to have proof provided. But yeah, I'm just really curious how this comes out. One thing I've been insistent about, in my opinion, is proof of her conning, because we have tons of neighbor and witness statements from Dee Dee's last few months talking about her phone calls and stuff, and Dee Dee was complaining as usual. She didn't have money for this, didn't have money for that, didn't know how they were going to make it, blah blah blah. Well, we know she had thousands of dollars stashed up in the safe, and apparently Rod was sending her money out of pure pity, also to assuage his own conscience for the fact that he didn't want to deal with actually, trying to have a relationship with Gypsy. But anyway, let's see what he says next, friends.
after she turned 18, I kept sending it.
Right.
I was under the assumption that Dee Dee would never work. It was a full-time job, according to her, that she would take care of Gypsy. So I just kept sending it,
How old is Gypsy?
23.
Okay. We've had some different dates of birth. I think
July 27th, 1991.
July 27th. Okay. I think we finally got all that straightened out, but I figured since
I'm going to try to get her birth certificate when we get back home.
Okay. I think we have a copy of it, but if you get one and want to send me a copy, fax it to me or whatever, that'd be fine too.
Okay.
Original would be awesome, but I'll leave that kind of up to you on that. I really don't know. Have you talked to her attorney about trying to get a private visit with her, like a off-schedule visit? And when I say off-schedule, what I mean by that is basically her days that she has visitations. There's certain days that she has visitations on, and I don't know, you may have to go talk with them or even talk to her attorney or whatever.
We're going to meet with her attorney tomorrow.
Okay, it's something you might ask him about, see if he can't set something up if you don't get anything from next door there, so. Well, I'm sorry to meet you on these circumstances, and, it's your daughter, and I understand kind of where you're coming from. I'm not in your shoes and can't fully understand, but at the same time, I've raised kids myself, and you love them no matter what.
I met Dee Dee I was 17. I didn't know her true age.
Rod's really over-explaining here.
She was 22. She was 24 that I just found out. Yeah, and we dated a couple of months, and she got pregnant. And I was never in love with her.
Sure.
Between you and I, or whatever. Sure. And I'm from the South, where Christians do the right thing.
Sure.
And that's why I was raised. And I said, we need to get married.
Sure.
I gave it a good effort. When I turned 18, my 18th birthday, I said, man, this ain't right.
Yeah.
I'll never make them happy. I'll never be happy.
Right.
So I left, and first 4, 5, 6, 7 years, Dee Dee kept it from me, made her scared of me. I visited her at about 2 years old, and when I got there, Gypsy was shaking. I'm like, man, what are you telling her? And they moved with her father. That didn't go good. After her mom died, I'm not sure.
After Dee Dee's mom died?
After Dee Dee's mom died.
I'm really curious if Rod had ever heard the rumors about the grandpa.
They moved with Gypsy's, Dee Dee's father and his wife, and that relationship, I don't know, my wife says that she tried poisoning the mother-in-law and because she was sick while she was there, and Dee Dee left and she got married.
I heard something about
but they ended up moving away.
Rod just sat there and casually threw out an accusation of another murder in the family. I know those rumors have been around a while, but it's just wild to me that the source of them is Rod sitting in an interrogation, just casually dropping it. That just seems wild to me, friends. What do y'all think?
And disowning her own family, much less getting away from me.
Sure.
You know, like I was a big threat.
Can I ask you something based on that? Be honest with me. If you don't have to tell me, but I appreciate some honesty here. There was rumor that apparently you were abusive to them. I mean, did you and Dee ever fight and get into a physical of any kind? Have any police records or anything of that
Absolutely
nature?
not.
Okay.
Never, ever.
All right.
We never like physically got in each other's face and argued.
Sure. Just regular
After I
arguments.
mean, how many fights can you have when you're just dating somebody in 3
Right.
months?
Sure.
It's funny, Rod said, they got married and he gave it the goodest try he could, give it all he could, but then he was like, oh, how many fights could you even have when you're only dating somebody 3 months? Like, it was no big deal. Anyway, a thought I have here is I find it really interesting that Gypsy has accused pretty much everyone who has been in a close personal relationship with her in her life of abuse, except her dad. And we know she has weird proclivities about family and about her dad specifically. There have always been rumors that she sent him some of the kind of sexy pics like she sent Nick. Never have known for sure if they were true, but we've always heard it. I'm sure we'll see evidence eventually.
Together, 3, maybe 6 months that we were together.
Okay.
You know, after I left, we never got back together.
Sure.
She did come stay with me and my mom.
Gypsy contradicts that in her book. She says they did get back together for a time. Interesting, huh, friends?
For a few days because she didn't have any other place to go.
Right.
We took her in until she found something.
Okay.
And then she moved away. She moved away and kept her away. We had made a couple of trips that we had planned to go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Right before the trip, nothing. 2 years ago, we went to Tennessee. My wife and my other daughter. We was gonna make a triangle. Tennessee, come see Dee and Gypsy, and we go home. The whole week before, the whole time we was on vacation, called. Never answered. Talked to her a week later or something. And you know what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, Gypsy got sick. We had to go stay at the hospital for a week or something.
They used to live in Louisiana, obviously, right? So how'd they get to Missouri?
It was after Katrina. They got relocated.
Okay.
We didn't hear that from them probably 3 or 4 months after Katrina.
Wow.
We were worried.
Sure. Well, yeah.
I believe they was living in somewhere around Mandeville, maybe,
Okay.
which is close to where Katrina died.
It's interesting that he says somewhere around Mandeville. I mean, Slidell is within the vicinity of Mandeville, but how the hell do you not even know the town? You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about a tiny little child. They were in the same state. Gypsy was a little girl, and Rod didn't even know where they lived. Very weird, friends. Didn't even know the town name.
Pass and everything. I imagine they evacuated before the storm, but that's what happened. Some kind of way, maybe Blue Cross brought her or something.
Sure. Okay. We were wondering about if that was actually true or not.
Yeah, it was true. That was the time frame.
And that was back in when, do you know? Remember?
It's interesting to me that Rod's so certain. He's like, oh yeah, that was true, but he didn't even know what town they were in.
No.
It's been so long ago, I don't know when Katrina actually hit down there.
Yeah. I'd have to look it up.
That's fine. Well, obviously you were in court this morning and kind of heard, so, come July, there's going to be a preliminary hearing, so.
Yeah, I'll go.
You can get back here for that? Okay, all right.
And the trial, I imagine the trial, it's not going to be 2 weeks after that.
No, I wouldn't think so, but you never know, and then, that stuff can extend for a long time too, so. Well, anything else that you think would be important, or?
I don't know, it's just so much crap right now.
It's hard to take a lot in.
It's hard to pinpoint any particular point that would make a difference in any way. I mean,
Right.
There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet that some of it's true, I guess. A lot of stuff about myself that, like I told my wife, I said, don't even try to respond to any of that I haven't, or even nothing. Not even please pray for my family or nothing. I mean, don't even,
Right.
people's gonna judge you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have, they just don't know. That's what they like to do. They like to get nosy and judge and everything.
Speculate.
So,
Interesting that he's already bringing up the social media aspect, friends. We know that family all around has always been all about social media, including Dee Dee.
it is what it is. I have a
Yeah.
good handful of friends back home that
Good.
know I'm a good father and friend. And
That
they
you
would
can
be
lean
right
in
here
on them if
tomorrow.
you need them.
Yeah, they'd be here right now if I needed them.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I don't feel like I have to explain myself to anybody.
Right, absolutely.
He says that as he sat here and explained himself for 15 minutes.
It's a tragedy that, it's just a tragedy.
Yeah, it
That
is.
something could lead to that.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of stuff out there. So, well, I appreciate you coming in. I don't know if anything else I could think of that. Let me talk to Sergeant Hunt real quick and make sure he hasn't gotten anything else from you or anything like that. So I'll be right back with you.
Appreciate your time and everything.
The rest of this is pretty inconsequential, friends. Stan Hancock just comes back in and tells Rod that there's nothing else they need, and then he leaves. So what did y'all think, friends, of Rod's words from his own mouth, sitting there looking all sheepish, explaining himself, going, I don't need to explain myself. We got to see what Gypsy wants done with her mama's body whenever she can come home. I know that might be years. Like, he already knows about the messages and stuff at this point. That's why he said, seems clear that she definitely had something to do with it. Like, he knows at this point that she had Dee Dee murdered, and he's still just sitting there going, oh, what a tragedy. When she can come home, let's figure out what she wants to do with her mama's body. Weird, friends. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, friends. I hope everyone's having a good day. We'll go out with a little palate cleanser, and I will see you again soon.